Hello and welcome guys. So in this lecture we will be working on a nighttime variation for our environment and also be doing a little bit of compositing in Photoshop. So obviously we won't be working in this file because this one is done like perfectly. Our render is finished and we have done like all of the compositing as well. So we are done with this environment. So let's just hit Control Shift and S to create like a separate file and we can save it as rooftop underscore night scene just to create like a duplicate of this file, and in this one we can like make all of the changes. All right, so now it's pretty simple. What we are going to do is we will be changing the HDRI, also changing like the color of the sunlight and just doing a bit of compositing to give it that nighttime look. So let's just go over into the shading tab and press slash to come out of the local mode, press 0 on your numpad, and then we can move over to the world shader type. And now if you will look over in the HDRIs folder, in the course files, I have specifically added this HDRI4, which is like a nighttime HDRI. So we will be using this one. So we cannot really like drag and drop it in over here because the HDRI's texture don't really work like that. You will see it won't really give you like proper looking results. So let's just delete it and press Shift A and search for the environment texture node and then click on open. And now just select the specific HDRI that we want to add. Now if we plug this in, we get something like this, which is kind of like a nighttime looking scene. So we have to like kind of make it work. You can select the HDRI, press Ctrl plus T to link the mapping nodes, and then we can first like move it around. And then I kind of don't really like this like orange look that we have at the bottom. So you can move like the location on the Z axis, I think just a little bit, just so we have something like this, so that we do not really have like this orange part at the bottom. So now let's just first press F12 to see how the render is looking. Definitely does not really look like a nighttime scene right now. So let's work on the colors a little bit more to give that effect. You can select your sunlight and then you can click on the color option and then just move it towards like a little bit bluish color. Somewhere around here. And then what we basically need to do is rest of the things we need to edit in the like compositing tab. If you press F11 right now and then just compare it. So now you can just press J to compare between the two renders, and definitely giving it this bluish tint makes it look a lot better. But now we can just go into the compositing tab, and this is our render over here. If you want to just create another window, you can do so like this. If your compositing tab looks like this, you can just go over here in the corner and divide it and click on here and select image editor and select the render result. This way you can see the render result over here and you can like make changes in your nodes and see the results update. So I'll press Shift A and add in a color balance node, and this way I can just make it look a little bit more suitable for like the nighttime view. So now over the lift color wheel, just move it towards like the bluish tint, and as you do so you can see all our shadows will get like this deep blue tint, which is exactly what we want. So just make it a little bit darker like this. I'll click on over here and somewhere around 0.65. Saturation can be 0.12. Yeah, now you can just select the color balance node, press M, and just see the effect it adds. As you can see, just making it a little bit bluish over here gives it a lot more effect of that nighttime view. We can do so the same thing over here with the gain as well. Not that much, definitely like a pretty low number. And you can also make it like brighter, and this way you will see like the highlights will all shine through. Obviously not this much, but we can definitely make it a tad bit brighter over here. Let's set this to something like 1.1 maybe, or like 1.15. And now you can just select the color balance node and press M to just see the effect we have added. This was our old render, and this is what we have created just using a simple tweaks in the color balance node. So yeah, it is definitely pretty powerful, and you can create like various different ambiances and moods just by using simple nodes in the compositing tab. And I think this looks pretty good for the nighttime view. And I'll just hit save. And now you can just press F12 to get like the final render. Go to image, save, and save it in the renders folder as, let's just save it as 2 underscore night. Save it as JPG and give it 100% quality. And with this, we are pretty much done with the first scene. Now I will just open up Photoshop and show you a bit of compositing over there. So although both the variations of our environment look pretty good, I will be just going over some optional and additional compositing in Photoshop just to see what else we can do. So if you don't have Photoshop, you don't have to worry like too much about it. Let's just quickly open it up, and I will open up the two renders that we have just created. So let's come back over here in the renders folder, open up both the scenes right over here. All right, so now we already know that we can do like a lot of different photo editing in Photoshop, like changing the brightness or the contrast of our render, making simple like color balance adjustments, or like changing the exposure, things like that. I will be just showing you how we can like add some overlays on top of this. So if you will go over in the textures folder, you will see that I've added like all these different textures. These are basically all overlay textures that I will be just showing you how we can use them. So let's say I drag and drop this leaves type of texture, and I will just scale it up to cover the entirety of my render like this. So it is just to add like that extra bit of anime effect. Obviously this is like totally up to your preference. You don't have to like add it if you don't like it. So yeah, now how we are going to use this, just right click on this and go over blending options, and Photoshop has like all these different blending options. All right, so currently we are in the normal blend mode, so the photo is appearing as it originally is. If you click over here and just start to like hover over the other like blend modes, you will start to see different type of blending between the two layers. And the best I think that works is this section right over here, the lighten, and till here the lighten color. So you can see we have this lighten and then screen, then we also have color dodge and this. So now I think in my opinion screen works the best for these type of things. So I will just select the screen blend mode, and you will see what basically is happening right now is we have totally masked out the earlier black color. If you go back to normal, we have masked out the black color completely, and we are just getting like these leaves textures as an overlay on top of our render. All right, so now in my personal opinion, this particular leaves textures is not that great. I have added this another one as well. So I will just drag and drop this one now and scale this up once again to the size of my image. Hit OK. Also, if you want to know the shortcut for this, it is Control plus T. When you select any layer or image, you can press Control plus T to like transform it, and then you can just scale it accordingly, and once again just change the blending mode to screen. So now if you want, you can like just click on this eye icon to turn off the older layer, but if you want, you can keep them both enabled as well. As you can see, it gives us this nice kind of look where the leaves are like kind of flying over our roof. So I think it looks pretty good and has got that like anime vibe to it. Also, you can like select any of the layers and also control like the opacity of them. If you think like this is too much, you can like select any of the layers. Instead of like disabling them completely, you can like set the opacity to something like 30 or 50, so that they are like very faint, as you can see. But these two I think look pretty good and are like a nice bit of addition to our render, and we can create like separate variations as well. So yeah, I'm just showing you different things that you can do with the renders to make them look better. Obviously it is totally up to your preference if you want to add them or not. And also you can like look through Google, and you will find like various different like these types of overlay textures that you can use. Like you will literally find thousands of these, and you can definitely like experiment with them. and we have like separate other ones as well. We will be also using them in like the other scene that we are going to create. So that's why I've added lots of these. Like let's say we have something like this, and we can change the blending option now to, let's say, something like, once again, we have lighten, and you can see that screen works pretty good over here as well. So you can select screen, and we can get like these sun rays on top of our render. You can control the opacity of this if you don't want it like too much. So yeah, you can definitely do these sorts of things. I will now just delete this particular layer, and this way we have like lots of different textures or overlay textures that I've added. And as I said, you can like definitely search through the net and find some of your own as well, and they all would work in a pretty much similar way. Like you can use this particular like blending mode as well, and just turn the opacity to a very low number, and then get like this type of some color variation or camera effects going on in your render. I think this also looks pretty good. So yeah, I just wanted to show you like these things. Also, you can select the background. So make sure whenever you are like making changes or any like color changes to your render, you select that particular layer. If you have selected like any other layer, then all those changes would be done to them. So select the layer 0. If you go to filter, sharpen, you can also select sharpen more. I think it will sharpen the image a lot. You can see the edges are like pretty hardened up now, and everything is like a lot more crisp. If you don't like this, you can like tone it down a little bit by just using sharpen edges or just simple sharpen. I think that also adds like a nice bit of effect because it makes the edge look a little bit more crispier, and it looks pretty good. Sharpen more is like a little bit too much right now. So yeah, let's just undo that. We can also do, obviously I've mentioned like all sorts of simple color manipulations. I'm not really too well versed with this, but you should definitely experiment into this as well. But yeah, I just wanted to show you like these particular tricks of like adding overlay on top of your images. You can like copy all three of them and just paste it right over here. Press Ctrl T and you can like place it accordingly. I don't think personally it looks that great over here for like this type of nighttime render, but maybe you can like tone down the opacity a lot and make something work that way. But yeah, I don't particularly think it goes well with this. We can add like these type of overlay. As you can see, this one works pretty well with our nighttime one. You can like select this and increase the opacity of this a bit more, or like maybe change the blending mode from color dodge to screen for this, or maybe lighten works a little bit better. So yeah, you can like definitely experiment with all these things. You can see with adding like this type of layer will give us like these like lens or camera effects on top of our render, which looks pretty good for this nighttime. And for like the daytime, these like leaves textures look pretty good as overlay. And yeah, now you can like experiment with the textures I have given. You can also like go through Google and Pinterest to find some more overlay images and try something with them. And with that, we are pretty much done with the first scene of our course. From the next lecture onwards, we will be working on the next scene, that is the hallway scene. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one.